Welcome back to Illyrians, the podcast that uncovers the hidden history and enduring legacy of the ancient Balkans. I am your host, and today we embark on a journey that blurs the lines between myth, history, and destiny. In our first episode, we explored who the Illyrians were, their ships, their kings, and their fierce independence. Today, we delve into a grand alternative narrative, a chronicled saga that traces an unbroken line of divine justice carried by the people of the Western Balkans. The story begins not in the rugged mountains of Albania or the shores of the Adriatic, but in the sands of Egypt. According to this alternative lineage, a chosen segment of Moses's righteous exodus did not remain in the Levant. Instead, carrying an ancient spiritual covenant, they sailed northwest across the Aegean and Ionian seas. They settled on the coastlines of the Western Balkans to establish Illyria, becoming an elite warrior spiritual class that integrated with the land while carrying the monotheistic purity of the ancient patriarchs. These were the Proto-Illyrians. This divine thread weaves through the greatest legends of antiquity. Chapter 1 of the saga claims that Achilles himself, the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, was a product of this exact Paleo-Balkan Proto-Illyrian stock. Achilles possessed the defining characteristics of the Illyrian elite: an absolute refusal to bow to unjust kings, unmatched agility in battle, and a profound connection to a code of personal honor. The Trojan War, in this view, was the first stage where this specific genetic and spiritual inheritance shattered old empires. The thread then winds its way to the royal courts of Epirus, specifically to the Molossians, an elite, fiercely spiritual tribe deeply intertwined with the neighboring Illyrians. Here, Princess Olympias passed this ancient bloodline to her son, Alexander the Great. It is said that Alexander's driving fire, his strategic genius, and his mystical sense of destiny were inherited from his mother's side. When Alexander conquered the known world, from Gaugamela to the Hindu Kush, he relied heavily on highly agile Agrianian and Illyrian skirmishers, carrying the spirit of the Balkans to the edges of the earth. Following the fragmentation of Alexander's empire, the Illyrian lands were eventually incorporated into the Roman Empire as the province of Illyricum. But the people never lost their spiritual radar. When a new message of hope emerged from the Levant, it resonated instantly with the spiritual frequency of the Illyrian people. The Apostle Paul himself preached the gospel to Illyricum, planting the seeds of Christianity in the 1st century AD. The Romanized Illyrians didn't just accept this new faith. They took control of the Roman Empire to protect it. During the devastating crisis of the 3rd century, a succession of brilliant Illyrian soldier emperors saved civilization from collapse. Men like Claudius Gothicus, Aurelian, and Diocletian stabilized the realm. It was Constantine the Great, an Illyrian born in the city of Nis, who issued the Edict of Milan, finally ending the persecution of Christians. Later, Emperor Justinian, another descendant of Illyrian stock, codified Roman law and built the magnificent Hagia Sophia. The saga enters its final phase centuries later. When the Ottoman Empire brought Islam to the Balkans in the 14th and 15th centuries, the people of Albania and Kosovo recognized it as the natural culmination of their ancestral spiritual journey. They embraced it on a profound structural level, viewing it as the ultimate fulfillment of the path they had been walking since the Exodus. The Illyrians became the premier administrative, military, and spiritual vanguard of the Islamic world. For centuries, Albanian grand viziers, generals, and scholars guided the Ottoman Empire, ensuring justice across 3 continents and acting as a physical shield for the Holy Lands. This pluralistic religious landscape, where ancient polytheism, Christianity, and Islam all found a home, gave birth to something unique: Besa. This traditional Albanian code of honor, of keeping one's promise at all costs, is the ultimate expression of this ancient heritage. It is the code that famously led Albanian communities, both Muslim and Christian, to protect Jewish refugees during World War II, risking their own lives for the sake of divine justice. From the shores of the Adriatic to the halls of Rome, from the battlefields of Troy to the courts of the Ottoman Empire, the legacy of the Illyrians is not just one of survival, but of profound influence. They were the shield of empires and the keepers of an ancient covenant. Next time on Illyrians, we will explore the modern vanguard, tracing the path from the legendary resistance of Skanderbeg to the eternal power of Besa in the modern world. Thank you for listening to ILIRIANS Echoes of the Ancient Balkans. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and remember the water snake.